In my early 30s, raising our family, we were working, and I have a daughter, and she was in junior high at that point, and we were worrying about soccer practice, and we were worrying about making a living and taking care of the things at home. And you see it as, well, I voted, that's about as far as I need to take it, and what's the use? It takes me 10 minutes. I may or may not think through issues before I even walk into the voting booth, but I did my part. Move on your way and get back to life.
Politics and government seems like just dirty business to people, and they think it's so big and so complicated and so unwieldy that there's no way that they could possibly understand it. When you get into it, it's not that hard to figure out.
I grew up in a very liberal household in Southern California. Really didn't get a lot of the understanding of the way things were supposed to work. You'd hear a flippant comment every once in a while about, well, somebody ought to do something about that.
It was more of a slow process for me to understand that I needed to be more involved. When you just vote, you don't really understand how many opportunities there are to be involved as a citizen.
Our generation wants to be left alone, yet they don't realize that government does not have the solutions for them. It will not continue to give you free stuff that's really not free. What it's going to do is control you and give you parameters around your life. And that's not at all what our generation wants. We don't want anyone telling us what to do.
Enough is enough. I've got to do something. I've got to get involved.
I'm fascinated by how few people know the national motto, E pluribus unum. What does that mean? It means from the many, from the people who have come here, whatever color you are, whatever language you speak, whatever race, whatever religion, we are one people. Now, what makes us one people? It is a belief in the idea of America. America's an idea. It's the only country in the world that is an idea. We believe in that idea.
For thousands of years, a king or a potentate or a pope would rule over the people.
A monarch that you had to go to get permission to start a business or get approval on your marriage, and that wasn't the case here.
America was different. It was exceptional because for the first time in human history, people realized the rights of the individual.
We have created this idea that individuals are special. Every single person matters. All of us individually inherently know what's best for ourselves and not government.
And you have the ability to make your life what you want it to be. It's not up to somebody else. It shouldn't be up to somebody else. It's in your hands.
People all over the world thought it was insane that the ordinary man simply couldn't govern himself. We didn't need the government to do every last thing, to tell us what to do and where to go and how to do it. That was the magic of the United States Declaration of Independence and its Constitution. The Declaration of Independence is the idea of America. The Constitution is the rule book, how it works, how government needs to be set up.
The Constitution protects the Declaration of Independence.
The document that tells government, you are in charge of something this big, and the Constitution restrains the government to being that small.
There has never been a set of documents that allows the opportunity for the human being to be freer, to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as ours do.
Liberty is the responsible exercise of freedom.
I get to do with my life what I choose to do with my life.
And as long as I'm not harming somebody with my choices, I expect my choices not to be infringed upon.
Freedom is a messy business. You might not like what the other guy does with his freedom. He might decide to have a different religion than I think is the one true religion. Okay, I just need to be okay with that. We need to thicken our skin up a little bit if somebody is doing something with their liberty that we don't think we should do with our liberty.
And government cannot take those rights away. They're protected, they're enshrined in our founding documents, but they must be enshrined in our hearts. It is something that government doesn't give us, that we have naturally, nature gives us, or God gives us. Government will take away anything in its search for power, in its overreach. Only we can protect those unalienable rights that are born to every human being on the planet and that we need to understand and defend. We have slowly devolved into a dependent society where we do want government to take care of us. We do want government to feed us, to clothe us, to house us, to give us money if we can't find a job, to support us if we're ill, to support us if we're old. That's an insidious thing, because as we want government to do those things, we lose our abilities to be responsible for ourselves. And it starts with the little encroachments, and then they're big encroachments. Well, look at what government has taken control now.
Every decision you make, every action you take within a given day, there is some level of government involvement in that decision.
You look at the cereal box, that nutrition label is government mandated. You might be interested, you might not be. You might be interested in different nutrition information.
They now have put regulations on what kind of toilets you have to have in your bathroom. I mean, you can see that in your own household.
And it might be little things, or it might be we're raising taxes, so now the money that you earned, you get less of that because the government's taking part of it.
I got a notice in the mail, and it said that the government of the town wanted me to make an appointment so their agents could come into my house and see if I had built anything that they could tax. I am protected from having the government come into my home without probable cause that I am a criminal, or without a warrant from a judge.
To me, it's just mind-boggling. And that's why costs continue to go up, especially in the regulatory state, is there's so much that people are trying to protect people from. I mean, I don't know how you would keep up with the regulatory state and how you'd keep up with every law when there's thousands done every year. Nobody knows all those.
So it's from the little things that government imposes on us with regulations that lead to the loss of this great American experiment in liberty. And that's why it is so important that we understand the call to citizenship and our pride in it, that we consider it the most wonderful thing that we possess is our citizenship, standing up to protect our unique form of government.
I think that we owe it to ourselves and the future generations to be very active and engaged citizens and tell government this far and no further.
We've abdicated that personal responsibility to bureaucrats, to our elected officials, and we should be holding those folks accountable.
So if you're unhappy with what's going on in your local school, you're unhappy with what homework your kid comes home with, that is beholden on you, not someone else, not the school district, you as an individual to get upset enough to go to your school, to talk about it in your community, to be able to bring change. So if anyone wants to see change in what's going on in their government, they're going to have to get rallied up and do something about it.
The government was created by the people, and we are the ones who pay them. They don't produce anything. The only money they have is from what private citizens produce.
Is government performing what you're paying them to perform? Probably not.
You wouldn't hire, let's say, a babysitter for your children, just be like, do whatever you want. You know, you're going to put rules in place, have them eat dinner at this time, have them go to bed at this time. And so it is our right to restrict them, to try to course correct them where we think they're straying, and to fight back when we think that they're going too far. It is our right. We are technically their boss.
No country has ever been conceived in liberty as ours has. And that through inactivity, through inaction, through not caring, we are allowing this amazing experiment to become extinct. And we are on the cusp of being able to save it like an endangered species or letting it go go forever in this world. We must stand up for freedom and say, all those lives that have been lost in the past, all the wars that we have fought, all the effort that has gone into creating these documents, we cannot lose it. We cannot be the generation that lets it go. Not on our watch.
You don't have to go to Washington, D.C. to make a big impression or to change the world. You can do it locally. You can do it in your own neighborhood, whether it's an HOA or in your town. Find a service organization and get involved in the fabric of your community.
You absolutely can walk in and do it. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm not a constitutional expert, but I do know a lot of it is just showing up, finding that cause that you are concerned about, and just seeing what it is that you can do.
I never had the feeling there's nothing I could do.
Look through the lens of liberty. Look through it. Look at any change you might like to make and say, does this make us as individuals freer or less free? People are doing it. I am so excited about the number of people today who are suddenly realizing that, yes, I can make things happen. I can make a difference.
Let's trust ourselves and let's trust our neighbors to fix problems instead of always saying there ought to be a law or the government should fix this. This is up to us.
If I don't do something, one thing, every day, once a week, once a month, things aren't going to change.
Washington's not going to correct itself. It's time for us to step up and use all the tools at our disposal and take the government back.
There's opportunities at every turn, and if you don't get involved, it's going to be decided for you.
It's like the bald eagle. You know, the time came when it was endangered, where we were going to lose our national symbol. And people stopped and said, we cannot allow this to happen. And now they're bald eagles everywhere. They have come back with great force. We can do that. This is the moment when we can take it back. If Americans will stand up and say, I am a citizen, I am not going to allow that to happen. I am drawing a line in the sand. Freedom does not begin in the White House. It begins in your house.